Good evening, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Sip and Chat. My name is Fanta Ceesay. Welcome to this fun, amazing, very, very informal show. I'm super excited today. You can tell by my body language because I've got someone here that I really admire, the way he works, the way he carries himself, and how great he is at what he does. And I think, he doesn't like it, but he's like a celeb doctor in the country. And I like that he's very compassionate and he's very giving in his job. I don't know him personally, but I hope after this episode we will all get to know him a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Dr. Marenah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Let me tell you something right before we get into it, right? I have been trying to get a hold of this man. I know that everybody is busy, but this doctor, he takes busy to another level. And I can't even fault him because, I want people to see him in a different light. So you know what? You go for what you want and you don't stop. I'll just let you tell people who you are, what kind of doctor you are, and what you do.
Yes. So I'm Kebba Marenah is my name. I'm an orthopedic doctor, which means I deal with bones, joints, fractures, that sort of thing. And I primarily work at Fanta Ceesay Teaching Hospital, where up until recently I was the head of surgery there. And I'm in charge of the trauma orthopedic unit there. And of course I also then do private work in various places. And in Gambia there's very few of us, so that makes us very busy, as you say.
Busy, yes.
So you had me feeling like a bit of a diva, making all my requests. So I'm like, God, she's going to think I'm really demanding.
No. Initially I was like, he's a busy man, accept it, So I don't have a problem with that because I understand. What you do is completely different, and like you said, it's only a few of you in the country, so I'm just happy that you're on my platform. Because, I don't think people really call you for interviews.
Not many, no.
Not many? See? Which is why I have him here today. So when you say you are at the Edward Francis Small Hospital, and you do a lot of surgeries, I'm assuming, is it like on a daily basis thing, or is it like every 2 days or so? How's that?
So at the moment I've divided it so that I do 1 week every 3 weeks of operating.
Okay.
And the other 2 weeks I see patients in clinics.
Okay.
There's 4 of us currently. We've got 2 Cubans, 2 Gambians.
Oh, wow.
So we sort of do 1 week each.
Okay.
And that's your busy week.
Okay.
But the surgeries go on daily. It's not me, it's my colleagues.
Oh, wow.
It's very busy. We all know the road traffic accidents and all the injuries that happen in this country.
Especially right now.
We are always full and always inundated with patients.
That is crazy. I'm pretty sure you've had different, as a doctor, you see a lot. You see a lot of hurt, you see a lot of pain, and you did mention something about trauma. What's that about? Because that really piqued my interest, because I'm interested in anything mental. Yes, to develop your mental health, obviously. So
it's a trauma as a specialty, which is looking after accident victims, and we have a long way to go in Gambia, of course. But where I worked previously, where we had our trauma unit, we had what we call multidisciplinary teams, which even included psychologists. Because as you say, it's very important. If you've been through an accident, you need help, which is not just the physical help that the surgeon can give and other things. But that said, though, people in Gambia are also very reluctant to accept it. I've had some people where I try to talk to them and say, I think maybe you need to see someone. And they always insist, no, I'm fine. It's just a physical problem I have. There's nothing mental wrong, I'm fine. People never want to accept that there is this element of trauma, psychological trauma, which you get. But I think we'll get there, but it will take a lot of work.
I hope so, because we'll get into, the mental aspects of what goes on in the country, because I'm very, very interested in mental health and how to better ourselves. But let's just stay with, you and being an operations doctor, and do you do something with kids?
Yes.
Yes.
So orthopedics is actually, the name comes from dealing with children and making children's bones straight when they're bent.
Okay.
So primarily that's what I like to do. A lot of what we do gets overtaken by the injuries. But when I get the chance, we tend to deal with these children with bent legs, bent arms, and things like that, helping them, straightening them. Yeah. Especially in our country, society is very important. So in the societies rather, appearance is important. And you always get fathers bringing their daughters, always concerned about whether they'll be able to get them married if their leg is not straight or their arm is not straight, and you have to try and help them and do operations to them.
True.
We try and do some of those.
You know, that's very impressive because there's a story, and I know I've told you this several times, but we never really talked about it. There's a story of the child, was it a boy with bent legs? And that, for me, that was the first time I came in contact with your job, for real. And when I saw that and I read the story, I was so impressed. I was like, oh my God, I need to speak to him about this, just to know, because I was curious. How did that happen, and what was the process like for you?
So, I mean, it's not uncommon when children are growing up, and here there's some vitamin issues, other dietary issues that may cause it. And children get these bent legs, and people will say it's witchcraft or something along those lines. So they hide the child. Sometimes they don't even get to see them. So we try and get some awareness, getting these children to come. And this one was sent to me by somebody I know, and he said, oh, my brother's son, if you could help him. So I saw the child and I explained to them. And a bit rare, they actually agreed for surgery.
Oh, wow.
It's a minor surgery, it's not even much. And literally what we do is we use nature. We just put something on the bone to hold it, and we let nature do its thing, continue growing, and over a course of 6 months to 1 year, his legs straightened. So I think I remember in the post, one of the things I mentioned the most was the fact that just seeing the boy, when I first saw him, he was this shy, quiet boy. And then when his legs were straight, he's got this confidence. The way he walks in now, he's a different person. And for me, that's the most sort of touching part of it.
I think that's why people fall in love with what you do. It's because of the love behind it, and how you like take people on a journey when you explain certain stories. Like that story, for me, I was very inspired, and I was so interested in it that I was like, you know what? Doctor is a doctor with heart, you know, because he's not just. Oh, it's not just surgery. It's like a journey. It's like, I want to know how you're doing after. Do you still keep in touch, or does he still come in for checkup, or after that, how long has it been?
No, he's, as in, I always get your phone number, and he sends me WhatsApp messages from time to time.
Bless him.
So it's good. I think I've got a friend for life there.
That is sweet.
He's
that
always
is sweet.
sending messages to us, saying
and
he's doing well.
When these type of things happen, right, and you post the story, because I know that do you directly work for the government, or when you go to these private hospitals too, is that like this is my private job and this is my government job? How's that?
Yeah, so I've got, essentially it's 2 jobs. I've got my government job, which is what brought me here, really. And that's my main focus. But the government job is not going to feed me.
At all. We
It's
know that.
not going to pay for my kids' school.
We know that.
I have to do extra jobs, and that's what that makes me work extra. But basically, 8 to 4, Monday to Friday. I'm in Banjul doing my government job, and that's the main part of my job.
You know, you mentioned that's why you are here, because I know that for a very long time you were in the UK. That's where you studied, and you lived there for how long?
20 years. I spent 20 years abroad, 1998 to 2018. 18.
Why did you come back?
When I left, it was the plan. I was going to go as far as I could, get as specialized as I could, get all the training I could, and then I was going to come home. And I finished my training in 2017, and a lot of things aligned at that time, and I just felt it was the right time to come home. Because I saw that there was a chance to make a very big difference.
Big difference here.
So I decided that was the time, rather than move it to later. Here I am.
Well, thank you for coming back. We love you. We love having you back, because you have made such a great impact and a big difference that, you know, even if you're not a doctor or that's not what you do, it's just inspiring to see how you are so committed to making a difference, you know, and we appreciate that. Right now, what are you on outside of work? What are other things that you do within that work frame? Because you said something to me, so I just want to know if you're going to say it, you know.
I mean, the work-life balance it's very difficult to manage, I have to say. I mean, I work most days. I leave home at 7 in the morning, and I don't get back till 8, 9 o'clock at night, and that's almost 6 days a week. And Sunday is my sort of day off where I try and be with family.
Wow.
My wife is a doctor as well, so she works crazy hours too. So I've recently just come back from holiday, and this was the first time in maybe 2 months that we spent a whole week together with our child since we got married. So it can be difficult, but trying to find that family time. You know, I do some gardening with her at the house.
Oh, nice.
grow vegetables and things like that. That's sort of my
doctor and a farmer.
my calming thing and what I do. But outside of work, it can be very difficult.
You know that I'm really coming for you because I want to know really who you are outside of work. We're done with work for now.
Yeah.
But like outside of work, you did mention that you have a baby. But I know that you also have 2 daughters. Was that from a previous marriage or, and how long ago?
So I was married previously. I got divorced in 2017, I think it was.
Okay.
In the UK, and I've got 2 daughters. One is turning 10 this month.
Wow.
The other one turned 8 in June. So they're big girls now.
They are big girls. So first and foremost, you are a girl dad.
Yes.
And the little one you have now?
Now I've got a boy.
You've got a boy.
I've got, 1 of each now, at least.
Congratulations. And you remarried, obviously.
Yes.
When, last year?
Yeah, 2020. 2019.
2019. And you married. Does marrying a doctor make life easier? Being a married man and a doctor as well? Does it make it easier? Because you're both in the same profession. Is that easier?
It's easier in some respects because I think sometimes only a doctor will understand.
Yes.
Understand the hours, understand why if I say I'm coming in 5 minutes and my surgery takes 2 hours while I'm not home. That definitely makes a big difference compared to previously.
Of course.
The understanding is much more there, but not being able to spend as much time makes it difficult.
It
That's not
does
easy.
it? Okay. When you said you do a little bit of gardening, and I'm guessing that's a passion of yours?
Yes.
What do you have in your backyard? Is it your backyard or do you have a little?
It's our backyard. It's
Okay.
our backyard. So when my wife was on maternity leave, she's back at work now. We had vegetables, so it was growing everything from lettuce,
Tomatoes.
cabbages, tomatoes, peppers, green peppers, everything that we could do. And of course now rainy season.
I know.
Trying to grow the corn and things
Oh,
like
true. I forgotten corn comes during the rainy season. That is amazing. Of course, when you say, obviously you do that gardening and the farming, what is something that Kebba likes? What is a hidden talent that Kebba has that people don't know about? Because people see Kebba, he's very serious, Doctor he looks serious. But I'm guessing underneath that, there is a warm, fun person. That's what I'm trying to get to know right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the perception that a lot of people have about me, I wouldn't say it's wrong. Maybe I always want to deny it. I always wonder why people just see me as being a very serious person. But I guess if everybody says it, then there must be a reason why. But underneath, I'm not really that serious. And most of the people that work with me, most people that know me, we go out, we hang out with all my people from work, with the nurses, doctors, the whole team. We do lots of things together. We go for dinners from time to time. We go out when we can. I'm the kind of person who's always joking and laughing. I don't do this whole I'm the boss kind of thing.
It makes
You
the
must
working
respect me.
environment
And,
a lot more chill.
We laugh, we joke, we make fun of each other, and that's actually how I genuinely am. A lot of people are very surprised when they see me in my element, if I say.
Are you like
they
that?
would never assume that, but from looking at it from the outside, that's actually how I am.
Really, because you have this demeanor, and I don't blame you. It's just some people have that when they're the exact opposite of that. But they look like, oh my God, I don't want to mess with this person. They have that face. I'm a very big believer of like zodiac signs. So I want to know, when is your birthday? Just so I can place you.
I'm a Libra.
You're a Libra?
Yeah.
Actually, I know a Libra. It makes sense. But hold that thought. We're going for a short break. When we're back, more with Dr. Marenah on Sip and Chat. Welcome back to Sip and Chat. With me today, I have the one and only Dr. Marenah, and we're getting in depth to know who he is. And I was just asking him about his star sign, and he told me he's a Libra. And you know me, I'm always for the love, the marriage. How did you meet your wife? How did you meet your wife? What kind of man are you when it comes to relationships? Because people are different. And in the society now, we have the situation when it comes to men, a lot of women are like, oh, I want a man that's exposed, that's not, and you haven't lived here 20 years. So it's always like, has that shaped you to be a more chivalrous man, a more compassionate man. Not to say that the ones here are not all these things, but like, don't come for me. I'm gonna Gambia. I'm just saying, obviously, if you've been away for that long, some things change and are major changes. So, what has changed, and what kind of man are you in a relationship?
I don't know if I call it chivalrous, but I think maybe I'm a bit different to, I won't say the average. I've lived with a lot of Gambian men and I've seen how they are. It's not always just being out, because I've lived with a lot of people outside and I've seen how they are with their wives and in general. Or
I was
those
going to
that
get
have
to
been
that.
there and come back. I think maybe for me, I would say what shaped me was more my family and my dad. My dad was always very good with kids, always around kids, and I never met my grandfather, but they tell me that he was the same. It's the kind of thing that maybe has come down. If you see your dad doing it, you're more likely to do the same sort of thing. So I feel that it's my duty to make sure that my son sees the same thing as well, hopefully. Hopefully I'm as good as it as I think I am. My wife might have other opinions, but
I should probably have her here.
I think I try to do a bit more. If I can, if I'm out, you'll see me holding my baby.
Oh, sweet.
I do the whole changing nappies, looking after him, that sort of thing, putting him to sleep. But I think that's just something that my dad did for me. I used to cook.
Do you cook now?
I don't cook now. I cook once in a while. It's not often.
Time.
Once every 2-3 months maybe I'll just go into the kitchen and say I miss cooking, and I'll cook and I'll do it. But yeah.
That's sweet.
I mean, the way the relationship we have, I think it just works.
It works.
I think it has to work between the two of you. I'll come home and I say, let's not cook. Let's just order out, because we're both working. So I don't expect her to be in the kitchen cooking all the time.
All the time.
For me,
That's very considerate.
If we're going to order out, we just order out. It doesn't matter where we get the food from, as long as we both eat.
Okay. And how did you woo your wife? How did you get her? I want to know, does doctor have game? Because obviously doctor is a very refined man, but does doctor have game? Because you tell me your wife's you tell me your wife's a doctor as well. So I'm thinking to myself, did he just, because, she's in the hospital, it's easy, I can reach her. What was that like? I want to know.
I'll tell you a story. So before I came home, we have this doctor's WhatsApp group, and I used to be on the group all the time. And then every now they'd announce a marriage, and I'm like, why are you people just marrying each other? It's like, there's always a doctor marrying another doctor. What is wrong with you people? Isn't there nobody else? And then I come back and I do the same thing. Because you end up being around the same people most of the day, and they're the people you interact with the most. She was actually, interesting when I met her, I wasn't yet working here. She was actually a medical student in her final year at the time. And that's
Did you do a little mentoring?
No, I wasn't her teacher like that. So I'm not one of those teachers.
that's a bright student. I think I want her for myself.
But no, I don't know how we met, but we met in the hospital. And then one thing led to another. I was on holiday and I said, do you want to meet up? Wow, we went out, and then things went from there.
Oh, okay. I like that. What's the nicest thing you've done for your wife? Because us women, we like a man that's thoughtful. I feel like thoughtfulness brings a romantic person, kind of, because it's all behind the thought. So what do you think is the nicest thing you've done for your wife so far?
That's putting me on the spot now.
I told you, we're trying to get to know doctor.
Trying to think about
on
what
a different
I've done for her. She's probably the best person to answer that. I don't know. I think, like you say, being thoughtful is very important. And I'm the sort of person, I try and put a lot of thought into gifts. Just doing something to surprise you. But one thing I do for her, or we always do together, is we do a lot together. So we travel together. I recently just traveled, but that's because she had a course abroad. And I decided that she wasn't going to go alone, so I paid for the baby and I to join. So that she would also, it was going to be her first time away from the baby, so that she would still get to be with her baby.
Yes.
Husband
and
around.
Her husband will be there to support.
And
that's
so
so
sweet. We did for the last week and a half. So I just came back, I left her there to finish off. That would work, but at least for the most part of it, I was there.
You were there, and I think that's what counts. Is the fact that I'm willing to go the extra mile to make sure you're happy and comfortable. In Gambian society, when When a man is fully invested in his woman, they're labeled all sorts of names. You know, you know what I mean? How do you deal with that, or?
Yeah, I mean, you get that. You hear things like that. When before we got married, like we'd been in hospital, I would take her food, which I know she's on call, she's doing long hours. I don't mind being seen as that man, and you know, in hospital setting, I'm seen as far more senior than she is.
Yes.
And people like, why is this, you know, consultant boss bringing this one food? I'm like, it's my woman. I don't care what people are going to say about it, as long as she's happy. That's
the most important thing.
People are always going to talk, and normally when they do that, it's because you're doing something right. It's because they're either missing it, their man is not doing it for them, or they're not doing it for their woman.
Spot on.
So if people talk, that's fine. Man.
Spot on. You see, I like a man that stands his ground, and I like a man that takes care of what is his without care of judgment or what is being said. So that, you know what, bravo. You're a girl dad. I'm guessing you spoil your girls. Do they live here with you, or are they abroad?
At the moment, they're abroad.
Okay.
But yeah, we lived together for 7 years. And yes. I think I was always, people are always so concerned about having a boy. And I think I have a boy now, but I think the relationship I had with my girls was very different. As a girl dad, you get very more invested in it. And I spent so much time with them.
Very.
I used
doing
to
their hair.
do a lot, yes. I've had
You've done their hair.
Their hair. You know, I used to get them ready for school, cook them dinner, that sort of thing. And, you know, you get very attached to them. It's difficult being away from them, but
it is.
You know, things change and you have to manage with the situation.
You do. That is, you see, I'm sure you've learned so much more about Doctor just as much as I have. This is what I like. I like to know someone outside of work. Outside of work, you relax, you have your garden, you have your family. On Sundays, it's a family day. And you know, you are definitely a catering man. You cater to your woman and your family. And you have this huge responsibility here. So when a man tells you, oh, I'm busy, I can't do this, they don't care. Let me just say that, because this is a prime example of a man that has so much going on and he still makes the time. So if someone is interested, they will make the time. That's just it for my girls, okay? You are very big on Twitter. You know, your opinion carries weight. And obviously, the reason why is because you speak something that resonates, or you speak on things that resonate with people, you know, and it makes sense, it's inspiring. Are you more of, oh, I'll speak now and think about it later, or I'll speak what's in my heart right now, or are you more about calculating with your tweets?
In general, I think I'm a calculating person. But I've always said, I used to say it on Twitter, that I don't retract statements. You know,
if I say it, I say it.
If I say it, I meant it. At the time that I was writing it, it's something that I meant to say.
Yeah.
So to turn around and say,
no, I'm taking it
back,
back. No,
I don't do it. You know, that's not to say I'm never wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong, and sometimes I learn. People come with opinions, and you go, actually, well, maybe I was wrong in that, and I'm not
but
too
that's
proud
how
to
you
say
felt at the time.
But yeah, exactly.
I like that.
It's about feeling. I think Twitter is important to express yourself. I think one thing it does help is help people learn to express themselves. You can't put your thoughts out there. It is social media. You have to be careful how you use it, how you also react to what people say back, because there will always be negative and positive comments. You shouldn't get too big-headed. You shouldn't also take things too personally.
At all.
But you've got to be just level with it. And I think, but it's important. I think it's changing the way we interact. It's changing the way we do things. Letting people be able to have a voice where otherwise they may not have a voice. You know, where our society is. If you are not known, then nobody's going to listen to you, that sort of thing. And now, you know, on social media, anybody can know you, anybody can hear you, and you can become known.
A celeb doctor.
Yes, a formerly very quiet person.
Formerly, you know, but after this one, they're like, no. But it's for me, I find that, because I'm not as interactive as Twitter anymore. I feel like there was a time I was, but every time there are tweets, I look at them, and so I see a lot of your tweets. And to just delve into a little bit of, you know, the mental health we were talking about, there was a situation here that happened with a very big musician that was married, and it played out. I mean, everyone knows this story with G and his ex-wife, and it played out so ugly, you know, across social media. And a lot of people had something to say. But also, if you put your business out, people are bound to come in and say, give their 2 cents, whether it is right or wrong, is out there already. One, are you a social media? I know you're a social media person, but when it comes to your personal life, are you like that? 2, how did you see that? Do you think there are elements of mental health involved? Or, just issues that maybe either one of them or both of them are dealing with? Yeah.
I think social media, the personal side, I'm more private. That's why I use Snapchat, because it disappears.
Yep.
It doesn't stay.
Yep.
But still, you have to move with the times. I think the way I view it and the way younger people do is different. So if you don't, for example, put your wife on your status,
love isn't real.
Even if it's for you, it's not that. You just have to go with how the other person feels, and sometimes you've got to put stuff out there once in a while, just to show the person that you care, if that's what they want to see. But I think you do have to be very careful how you use it, and some things you need to keep closer to your chest, not let everything out there.
Everything out, true.
Because again, I once had an exchange. People were posting my tweet on WhatsApp.
Oh wow.
And I'm like,
right.
I don't mind. Because for me, once I put it out there,
it's done.
It's public.
Yeah.
So whatever someone decides to do with it after
It's
that,
up to them.
It's actually up to them. I really don't mind if
That's
people
true.
take what I say and use it however they want to use it, because it's my, I won't say fault, but I put it out there, so I've allowed them.
I
to do
did that, yeah.
And I think from that point of view, anything you put out there, you just have to be prepared and accept what's going to come with it. But that said, sometimes you say mental health does come into it, and people will post things. I think mental health is very poorly understood. There's attention-seeking behavior sometimes, which is not necessarily, it's just saying it in a bad way, and other behaviors, and sometimes the people aren't totally in control of how they're behaving at that point in time. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt, and sometimes people need to be a bit more sensitive. I think here it's always like, if you have mental health issues or whatever, it's always like, the Pharrell, there's this, there's that.
Because they don't really know.
They don't want to understand
as well.
They would rather take it as just drama and have something more entertaining rather than see it for what it really is. I think sometimes we really have to pay more attention to what is going on with other people. We don't do that very well.
We don't. We really don't. I feel like we're very quick to judge as opposed to understanding. When something like that plays, it's kind of like, oh my God, hey, why am I nako? Or fokli dalko? You know what I mean? As opposed to why? Are they okay? Because for a situation like that, my initial reaction was like, something is not right. For both of them. Something is not right, because when I see situations like that play out, I'm always thinking, where are you right now mentally for you to do this? Because if you were okay, you wouldn't do that. That's how I like to view things, because I know if I'm okay, I'm doing different things. If I'm not mentally okay, the best thing I do for myself is to either be amongst friends or family or just sleep it off. Until, you know what I mean? So I guess I just want to know, have you had any patients or people come to you like, doctor, this is how I've been feeling. Do you have any advice for me? How can you help me?
I think people very rarely do that. Accepting that the way you're feeling is not normal is the first step. And I think during COVID, the height of COVID, we had a lot of doctors who sort of suffered, I wouldn't say suffered from mental health issues, but, there was some close to breakdown, so people just starting to feel the stress. And at one point I even put it out there, I spoke to OPI and tried to get free sessions for anybody who was interested. And when I put it out there, very few people want to take it up. Because everybody wants to feel strong and just feel like, I'm not going to get broken down by anything. I don't need help. And I mean, we all do at some point. We all do, and you have to accept that sometimes things just get a little bit too much.
They do.
The emotions boil over, and it's normal to feel those things. But we have to start accepting that.
I think, yes, we have to also accept that mental health isn't okay, Dofna.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of confusion when it comes to that. It's like, they suffer from some mental disorder, and it's like, how you dof? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it isn't, you could easily you could have bipolar disorder. You're not deaf. You could be depressed. You're not deaf. You could have anxiety. You're not deaf. You know what I mean? These are all things that play across in your life at some point, and it's kind of like, I cannot control it. I need to seek help. Is there a body here that is responsible to just for counseling, or do we have therapists that you know?
So I mean, Gaima and OPI,
Okay.
I think, have been very good in putting out a lot of messages, trying to show people that it's normal. You know, there was this campaign showing different faces. I was actually part of it, telling people about different mental illnesses. You know, you have the PTSDs, you have the bipolar, schizophrenia, all sorts of things. And there's various levels to it, as you say, and people need to be aware of this. And I think OPI definitely have been doing a lot for awareness, and I think that's where it starts. Once you got aware, then people will start saying to you, oh, okay, I need to see a psychologist. You know, one of the clinics I work in, we have a psychiatrist there, and actually she does get patients.
She does?
She does. I think she could have a lot more. There's a lot more people that need it,
That
but
is
they don't
true.
seek it.
That
but
is true.
it's there. But, you know, it's very difficult. You know, there was the issue of the boy that was allegedly raped recently. And I reached out to someone close to them and said, you know, we've got this psychologist. I would offer this free service if the family and the boy want to take it up. They never got back.
They never did.
You know, so it's difficult. People just don't want to accept.
They don't, and I think also it's you know, I think we have to destigmatize it, because it's a lot of stigma around it, and it's like, this is something we should freely speak about, because a lot of people go through stuff that they don't talk about, and they up and die or kill themselves, and you're like, hi, when you find on you don't know that. You know, obviously the doctors are here to help, but do you get help? How do you unwind when it's been a tough season or tough couple of months? And as you said, we're all human. We all have moments where we're like, this is a bit much for me. What do you do when you get to that space?
For me, I'm not very good with my emotions, unfortunately. I internalize things a lot, and often so I'll keep on taking it till it gets to a breaking point. And I've sort of learned or know when I'm getting to that stage, and I try and do something. It's usually a change of location, scenery, just change where I am. Stop doing what I'm doing. And also from a doctor's point of view, sometimes you have to realize that you can't help everybody.
At all.
You know, if I take 2 weeks break, there are a lot of people who keep calling, going, we need to see you. So I'm like, if I'm not fine myself,
I can't help
you.
At all.
So I do need to take breaks, and that's my way of dealing with it. Apart from that, it's music, probably.
It's music. I like that.
Music is therapeutic.
I like that. You know, on this show, right about the end, we do this thing called Never Have I Ever. Never Have I Ever is something I like. I like to test people, because I feel like we all just have to have some fun and unwind and you know, just be free. Because I am a free being. So I like that my guests, when they come here, we play different games. So I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
My first question is, never have I ever lied on my resume to get a job.
I say yes. I'm teaching you how to play the game, so I'm supposed to say yes or no.
You're supposed to say yes or no, and you know.
Yes.
You have.
Never have I ever. I've never.
You've never.
No, I've never.
You've never. Okay. Never have I ever been in a three-way relationship. You know that. You know how men do. They have a girl here, they have another girl here, and they all find out, and it becomes a big hoorah, Have you ever been in that type of situation?
I have. I'm not young. I'm not young. I've lived my life.
You have lived.
I've lived my life. So.
I want to know, how did you handle that? Why do men do that?
Why? I mean,
look at my crew guys laughing, but like, why?
I think a lot of the time, sometimes you want to explore. You want to decide who you're going to settle on.
So you drag two women along.
No. One eventually wins.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, you've got women
you
do
said
it.
one eventually wins.
Women do it too.
I feel like women do it now, because obviously the way things are, if you don't do certain things, you're going to be left here hanging every time. Because if it's one thing men know what to do, is to have options.
Well, yes.
I am a big advocate of that as a girl. I keep telling girls, listen, don't put all your eggs in one basket. The times we live in right now, any man could leave you. We've seen that. We've seen men be in relationships with women for 2-3 years, and they up and marry someone they've met 1 month ago. So I always tell women, talk to Samba Pate de Mbalamin. Whoever wins, wins. Because men have done it for years.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Never have I ever dated someone older than me. Like, have you ever dated an older woman?
Yes.
You have. You know, I find out that they're very exposed men, and in most cases that know how to treat women well, have dated older women. How was that like? And when was that?
In my younger days.
I like that you lived.
I think I have dated a few older women. There was a period I went through where I was mostly dating older women.
Really?
I think it depends on the kind of person you are. Sometimes you want someone who is more mature and more accomplished and sort of knows what they want, and that's the kind of relationships that I had when I was at that stage.
Okay. Never have I ever called a partner by the wrong name.
I'm admitting this one.
Oh, are you bleeding the fifth? Are you saying?
I'm sure she remembers it. Maybe she pretends like she doesn't hear it, but
You've done it?
I have done it.
Oh wow, by an ex.
Yes, by accident.
You know those ones you feel like my grandmother would say, "Banku yelling adum." It's like, oh, let the ground open and swallow me.
The words leave your mouth and you're like, I didn't just say that, did I?
Say that, did I?
She hear me? She didn't hear me. Hopefully she didn't
And
hear
you know,
me.
in most cases, women pretend like they didn't hear it, and then they go and replay it because they don't want to make the situation more awkward. That is crazy. I think this will be my last question. Never have I ever lied to my partner to protect their feelings.
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Did they find out?
No.
They never found out. Nah, doctor, high five. They never found out.
They didn't find out. I'm not saying which partner it is, but
Because that was my next question. Would be like, but who is it?
No.
They never found out.
No.
Oh wow.
I mean, there's a few things. Of course, sometimes some things they'll find out, but
yeah.
you know, some of the major things,
They don't.
if you do it well. I'm actually very bad at lying, so I try not to. I try not to lie because I just feel like I'm going to get found out if I try and lie because I can't keep that face. So I try to as much as possible.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for playing the game. We've learned a thing or two. Well, we've learned a lot about Doctor today. Thank you so much for coming. Is there something that you want to share with the people? Because I know you're on a project or you're studying something. Do you want to share it with the people or do you want to keep that?
Well, I'm just trying to further my education. As I said, Gambia is one of those strange places where there's so few of us that you get pushed into positions and things very early. And I was head of department of surgery for 2 years. I've got other positions that I've been leading. But for me, I just feel like I can be better. You know, I may have done well in those roles, but I think I can be better. So I enrolled in a leadership program at Harvard.
Oh, nice.
And that's what I'm doing.
Leadership program at Harvard. Sorry, I'm geeked out, but go on.
So that's what I'm doing currently. So you caught me between.
I did.
Currently on seminars, so I've got to go rush back and have an evening seminar.
Well, thank you so much for making the time to come and sip and chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a good sport. Thank you for playing all the games and answering all the questions and being so insightful about your life as well. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this brings us to the end of this segment of Sip and Chat. My name is Fanta Ceesay, and this was Dr. Kebba Marenah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.